let's talk about you, the traveling nurse. Based on the question, you seem to be using English, not Luganda. So, I will follow up with you later. I have so many questions, but let me answer you, the traveling nurse. Hey, Jovia. I'm a traveling nurse. I live in multiple states. I lived in South Carolina, Rhode Island, and Connecticut. Okay. So, how can I file my tax return? The right to ask. Now, for you to qualify for what we call resident and non-resident state filing, where you lived in more than one state. And again, we need to know one thing. Where do you live currently? Let's assume you live in South Carolina, because that was the last state based on your arrangement when you were explaining. Let's assume you live in South Carolina. Number 2, by the time you lived in Rhode Island, where were you working from? Were you working within there? Number 3, is your employer a chain like single hospital, or this chain that keep travel like transferring you from one place to another? I would like to know if you are dealing with different INs or a single federal ID or a single employer. Then, if you lived in Rhode Island and you worked in Rhode Island, let's understand this way. You have 2 scenarios here. Based on your follow-up information, you have 2 scenarios. Connecticut is where you worked when you lived in Rhode Island, meaning you were commuting. Therefore, we are going to look at South Carolina and Rhode Island as your resident states, because you're in Rhode Island. By 31st December, you were in Rhode Island. Sorry, you were in South Carolina. But by the time you worked in Connecticut, you lived in Rhode Island. Therefore, Rhode Island and South Carolina become resident states. Then Connecticut becomes your non-resident state. The question is, did you make any income other than the one you have on W2 in Rhode Island? Again, besides the W2 that you show up, do you have any 1099s, any miscellaneous, any EC, any interest and dividends? We are looking at your income at large. Lastly, did you make income from any other states other than the 3 we are talking about, South Carolina, Rhode Island, and Connecticut? Then, briefly, this is what is gonna happen. 1, you will file a resident return for South Carolina, a resident return per year for Rhode Island, and a non-resident return for Connecticut. In summary, start by filing the non-resident return. Then file the per year resident return of Rhode Island, and finally file the per year resident return for South Carolina. Do not forget to file the overall federal return. I expect to see 4 returns: federal, Rhode Island, Connecticut, South Carolina on your file if you're dealing with this. Answer me those questions about additional income. Then we see how to move with this. Again, if you left Rhode Island officially and you live in South Carolina officially, and by 31st December you were in South Carolina, when you're filing your Rhode Island state return, you have to show that you were there, but you are now taking out of state status. Our goal is to make sure you're not taxed more than once on the same income by different states. If we make mistakes here, you will end up being double taxed. Answer me, follow up with me, or send additional questions. I would like to look at your case in a very unique way, because it's kinda unique. Thank you so much.